Hello, and thank you very much for pressing play on this tutorial on business-to-business customer life cycles. In other words, sales management life cycle. So who will benefit from this content? New people to sales, new people to startups, people who are uncomfortable with the process, people who are curious. I welcome everybody. And it's less complicated than you may expect. So we're going to go through this. And why me? Because I've been doing this for a while. I've held every position I can probably have in a sales organization and marketing as well. And I've been in the startup space. I've been in big enterprise space. And I try not to be boring. So if you fall asleep by the end of this video, shoot me an email, please. Want to know. So, customer life cycles. It's a life cycle. It's go back to the Lion King. The lions eat the antelopes. The antelopes eat the grass, and the grass consumes the lion's body, and it goes on, right? Sales or customer acquisition works the same way. It's that basic, if you will, from a conceptual perspective. How do we get it done is a different aspect, because let's face it, we're not in the savannah here, but still we have to identify our audience. If you watch my tutorial on qualifying your startup, part of your work is already done, but you still have to identify your audience first and foremost. Secondly, you got to reach out, because it's hard to sell if there's no dialogue. Then the classical sales funnel gets filled, customer buys, we work on retaining customer and gaining the long-term relationship. We try to sell more, and we get the customer who's super happy to send us business as well. So that's what we're going to discuss today. We're simply going to go through all the steps, and hopefully you're going to learn something amazing today. If not, send me an email. Identification. So who do we target? Who do we want to talk to? As I said, if you validated your startup in the startup phase properly, well, you already have a lot of that information down. But from a market acquisition perspective, you want to go and be smart about what you do and be a bit more logical and build bite-sized morsels that you can actually manage. Where do we sell? Who do we sell? How big do we sell to? What's their requirements? I like standard specifications as an example, because if they have to do ISO reporting and compliance and you have to maintain that, that's one thing, right? Who do you sell to in the organization? Because who has budgetary approval authority? What can you find out about their business? And believe it or not, that's a really important one. What do they know? What do they use? What do they partner with? Who do they partner with? What services do they leverage? What are their pains? What are their industry's pains, etc.? Really important, because you're going to be able to build all that messaging against those ideas. What are the cycles and seasonality? So if you deal, let's say, in agriculture farming, well, there's some very important milestones to meet in the calendar, right? It depends of who you sell to at the end of the day. So identification phase, really important, because everything else is a win from there. Reaching out. Reaching out doesn't mean I'm going to hammer the phone all day long, necessarily. Not a bad thing. But marketing is involved, because this is where marketing is going to build all those campaigns. Social media, content marketing is one of my favorite things. You're going to be working with strategic partners, distributors, integrated partners, etc., to go out and reach out and talk to organizations and individuals that may need what you offer. Marketing qualified lead. Yes, we're going to do some dictionary words here today. Is when a suspect that's been registered to your mailing list, downloaded something, and did a few other things, will hit the criteria that you will determine that can be moved from a marketing lead to a sales lead. So it's marketing qualified lead. Checkboxes are met, pass to sales. Now, sales also has to do their thing. And prospection and qualification. Let me dissect both here very quickly. Prospection is the counterweight of what the marketing team does. Salesperson will reach out to their contacts or identified potential customers, etc., and do one by ones or one too many, etc. Right? It's the classic thing. And qualification is where you decide if the organization is a good target to continue talking to, because you don't want to waste your time. Now, that being said, when marketing says marketing qualified lead, in sales we have sales qualified lead, which means we can move this organization or this contact into the pipeline to actually go through an actual sales process. Now, marketing qualified leads are usually being passed down to sales, and sales qualifies them. That's ultimately their role. And this is where marketing and sales become friends, because salespeople love leads, right? And once you've prospected and qualified, it becomes a sales qualified lead. It's that very simple few steps process. Now, you're at the acquisition phase. That means demonstrations. That means you're going to talk to the customer, you're going to do demonstrations, you're going to do pitches, presentations, etc., right? Customer will want to try stuff. And that's really important, because if you can get in first, it's harder to remove you in certain scenarios. So it's there, it works, it meets all my budgetary and technical requirements. Maybe I'm not going to look at the other competitors because this works and my boss is putting pressure on me, etc., right? Then you've got negotiations. This is where we talk price, terms, conditions, the usual. Objection management is a very good thing. A lot of individuals first time around go like, oh no, I have to deal with objections. The customer's not buying this verbatim. If they ask questions and they object, it means they care, it means they're interested. Answer objections, your chances of closing grow significantly. And typically at this stage, depending on your organization, you'll work with a sales engineer, product specialist, etc. I won't name the brand of cars, but years ago we were shopping for a car for my wife, and we met with the salesperson in the dealership, and that salesperson did not do the car, drive around, show us how cool it is. They had a sales engineer for the car explain to us the whole thing. And that person knew the market, the features, the competitive advantages, and everything. It was actually a really interesting discussion. From being in this professional role, I understood everything was happening, and I really enjoyed it because I like to nerd out. Now, after we've cleared all the hurdles and gateways, and conversion. Conversion is fun. You win. You ring that cowbell on the sales floor like in the olden days. And this is where you start planning. This is where, to some extent, the second part of the real work begins. The first part of the real work was getting the customer on board. Now, making sure that customer is happy is really important. But this is where you're going to be deploying, and you'll be working with a professional services group if there's such a division in your organization. And you're implementing. That means the customer is gaining value out of their selection. It's live. They're using it. They're living with it. This is great. Because then we can go to retention. Retention is where this is the white glove treatment. I'm white glove minded everywhere at each steps, but this is where you make sure that everything's there proactively. Can we help you tweak something? Do you have any questions? Do not let customer problems linger. Okay? Bad. Just proactively solve, proactively do. Customer wants to be taken care of because they want to trust you because they made that selection. Then you can afterwards fall into the usual customer satisfaction surveys and interviews and those kind of things. And then the customer can be also a reference. Once you know the customer is happy and everything is purring and then you can introduce them as part of your sales cycle. Like, Mr. Customer, I've got this organization which looks really similar to yours. You want me to reach out and get the person running the product to speak to your person that's going to run the product? Those kind of discussions. And the other thing is recurring revenue. You're going to be able to log the customer in at least mentally, if not contractually, for multi-year stuff. So this is really important. Cross-sell and upsell. I love that phase because once your customer is happy and he's staying with you, and there's a commitment like, yeah, we love this, we're not going to rip it out. I come from the software space, in case you're wondering, and that's why I speak that way sometimes. Do you have anything else to sell? Cross-sell, upsell, right? If you sell a point product in what can be part of a suite, go sell the whole suite. What else can you complement with? What else can you do this? What else can you do that? Etc. Right? This is where you can actually get more of that relationship financially from the customer, and the customer gains more value. Eliminate competitors is a good thing that you can add to your list of things to do, because the more competitive products you remove, the less your competitor will be present, the more your lock on the account will be strong, right? And the customer benefits from having one finger to point, and also will have less stuff to manage, right? Everybody wins, or so I hope. And again, this is where you can do some multi-year lock-in. I mean, lock him in. This is great. Last but not least, and this is the fun part, is referral. I've seen scenarios where the leverage of the customer in that prospection process was just amazing, where the customer will engage peers on your behalf. They will open up introductions, they will do stuff for you because they believe in you and your organization and the product and the value. Customer experience is integrated within your toolkit. You have testimonials, etc., and you can get collateral to go with all this. I've seen one of the coolest things I've seen was at a hospital conference. I'll keep everything anonymous, but they had the CIO of a major U.S. chain on stage explaining what their process was to deploy XYZ technology on the behalf of the company. Right. Wow, this is awesome, and this falls into the referral phase. If you can actually get your customers to partake in this. This is great. And let's call it a spade. If you bring a customer to a conference and you give a 2-hour presentation, Q&A, keynote, or panel, whatever, extend their stay for a few days and pay for their spouse. Thank them. It's really important to thank them, right? If you have a conference in Hawaii and, yeah, sure, just like you want to stay an extra few days, and we can also fly your spouse. Exactly. So be nice to people, be considerate, and build those relationships. Some tools of the trade to get this whole mumbo jumbo done. CRM. I have a video on CRM tutorial on choosing your CRM. Please go take a look at it. And there's even a template to help you select your CRM. Data enrichment, if possible. Data enrichment means there's third-party services which will fill the blanks in your systems so you don't have to, and it will help you get more done quicker, and you'll have more clarity. Really cool stuff. Your website, if you don't integrate it with your CRM from a forms perspective or your marketing tools from a visitor tracking perspective, you are losing out, because numbers talk and analytics talk a whole lot, and knowing who goes where and what will actually get the marketing team to give you marketing qualified leads. So email marketing, a classic, but it still works. And social platform engagement, depending on who you are, what you do, what your offering is. As usual, mileage may vary, but this is 2022. Social is it, right? And more. Whatever will fit in your toolkit. So thank you very much for staying with me until the end. If you have any questions, need a hand or anything, drop me an email, please. I'm always there to help. Thanks, and have a great day.